I was 22, renting a creaky attic room while interning at a small-town paper. The landlord swore no one else lived on the third floor, yet every night at 2:13 a.m. sharp, I heard slow, deliberate footsteps pacing the hallway outside my door. The knob would twitch, once, twice, then silence until dawn. After 2 weeks of sleepless dread, I wedged a mirror beneath the door to catch any movement. The next night, the footsteps stopped right outside. A pale bare foot slid into view, toes pressed against the mirror's edge, followed by a second foot facing the opposite direction, like someone standing backward and forward at the same time. I yanked open the door. Empty hallway, dust undisturbed. Terrified, I set my phone to record, screen down. Morning review showed static for hours, until 2:13, when the camera captured a reflection in the mirror. A gaunt man in early 1900s clothing, head turned completely around, gazing into the lens. The file corrupted at that exact frame. I broke my lease that afternoon. Months later, researching town archives for an unrelated article, I found a 1911 photograph of the house. Same gaunt man, standing on the attic landing, captioned "Caretaker" after the third floor hanging. The spring after college, I drove for a rideshare company to cover rent. Friday, April 12, rain hammering the windshield, I picked up a request from Sam, a young-sounding woman outside a strip mall gym. She slid into the back seat, hoodie up, head down. The destination popped up, an unfinished housing development at the edge of town. Halfway there, she leaned forward, whisper shaky, "Can we take a different route? Someone's following." In the mirror, I saw a black SUV 2 car lengths behind, no headlights. At a stop sign, I caught details. Hoodie wasn't damp from rain, it was soaked with sweat. Her left sleeve was torn. "Did you call the police?" I asked. Her eyes filled with tears. "That's who's behind us." The SUV's spotlight flicked on, flooding my mirrors. A speaker crackled. "Driver, pull over." Except the voice never identified a department, just repeated the order, louder. I kept rolling, thumbed SOS in the rideshare app, and veered toward a 24-hour gas station. The SUV gunned it, brushing my bumper. Sam screamed. I pinned the horn, blew through the station's entrance, and screeched beside the pumps. Real patrol cars swarmed in less than a minute, sirens, lights, uniforms. The black SUV peeled off but stalled at the exit, boxed in by cruisers. Inside, a suspended sheriff's deputy and his cousin, both fired months earlier for stalking female joggers. They'd repainted the SUV that morning. Sam wasn't a passenger at all. She'd escaped their custody during an attempted abduction at the gym and requested the rideshare to get anywhere crowded. My random accept kept her alive. The company later showed me her frantic SOS message, sent while she was sprinting toward my car. I was 17, killing time before my school's 8 a.m. field trip check-in. At 5:15 a.m., the town was still black, so I jogged the quiet back roads that cut through a line of old apple orchards. Half a mile in, my earbuds died. The sudden hush felt strange, but the road was familiar. I'd biked it since I was 10. That comfort vanished when 2 weak flashlights blinked in the tree line ahead. One beam swept my way. The other stayed fixed on the ground, as if someone searched for a dropped phone. I slowed, planning to call out, when an engine turned over. A pickup growled awake behind the trees, headlights covered, as if taped, so only thin blades of light leaked out. A man's voice muttered, "Not that row. Keep going till we find it." Steel hit steel, maybe a shovel against a truck bed. My fight or flight smashed the flight button. I spun and ran back the way I came. Gravel popped under chasing steps. Flashlight beams jittered across my shoulders. I darted between 2 rotting fence posts into the orchard's dark rows, branches clawing my cheeks. The pickup engine revved, tires crunching through dead fruit, bumper scraping dirt mounds. I ditched the road and crouched behind a toppled crate stack. The beams passed within yards, voices arguing about the wrong bag and sunrise coming. When the truck idled farther off, I crawled deeper, belly scraping mud until I hit a low drainage tunnel that ran beneath the highway. It stank of mildew but offered silence and cover. My phone finally picked up a single bar. I texted my teacher one sentence, "Something bad, running late, call police. Y7 Orchard." I sat in that tunnel for 20 minutes, heart punching my ribs until sirens wailed overhead. Tires spun, a door slammed, then nothing. Deputies found no truck, no men, only fresh shovel marks in one orchard row and a half-buried duffel bag they refused to describe. They radioed a tow for me. An officer drove me back to school. He said, "Forget the fitness badge today, kid. You already earned it." I skipped the trip, filed a statement, and changed my running route forever. What those men hunted or hid in the dawn gloom still chills me more than the chase itself. I was 24, fresh in the city, subletting tiny Unit 3A of a crumbling 1920s building. Move-in day, the manager warned. Ignore the noise next door, old pipes. Yet every night at exactly 11:07 p.m., a woman's voice in 3B sobbed, "Please, let me out." I knocked. No answer. Maintenance insisted 3B was empty. Last tenant left 6 months earlier. I chalked it up to weird acoustics until the voice added, "I know you can hear me, Jonah." Jonah is my middle name, never on the lease. I recorded the next night. Playback showed the sobs and a soft scratching behind my headboard. The wall shared with 3B bulged slightly, paint cracked like fingernail marks. I called the manager again. He unlocked 3B while I filmed. Dust-thick air, yellowed wallpaper, no furniture. Only one thing stood out, a huge antique wardrobe pushed against our shared wall. We hauled it aside. A cutout hole, barely wide enough for a person, gaped in the drywall. Inside the wall cavity lay a microphone, a small speaker, and a motion sensor wired to a timer at 11:07 p.m. Police traced the setup to the previous tenant, a sound engineer evicted for stalking his ex-girlfriend, named Joanna. He'd mistaken my sublet info for hers. He was arrested the next morning, still living in the basement boiler room, feeding the system nightly. The detective told me he'd tunneled into the walls of multiple complexes before. I moved out before sunset. Last October, two buddies and I tackled Trail 19 in North Carolina's Pisgah Forest, an 8-mile loop best done in daylight. But we started late, hoping to photograph the full moon at the summit. Mile 3, tree line thinning, we spotted a lone hiker ahead, tall, backpack spotless white, moving at an unbroken pace. We called a friendly "evening." No response. He simply raised one arm, index finger pressed to lips, as if shushing us. Creeped out, we let him gain distance, yet each switchback he seemed closer, not farther. Then our phones lost signal, trail markers vanished, the temperature dropped. At a fork we'd never seen on the map, the white pack hiker waited, fingers still on lips. He pointed left, toward a steep, unmarked descent. We chose right. He followed. Sudden metallic clang, my friend's headlamp illuminated an old fire tower foundation long removed from official maps. On its concrete base sat 3 weathered plaques, each with a hiker's name, missing, and dates, one from 1998, one 2007, one blank. The white pack figure approached the plaques, finally spoke, voice hollow, "Fill it in." Moonlight struck his backpack. Realization hit. It wasn't fabric. It was a rescue stretcher, folded and strapped to his frame, caked with rusted clasps. We sprinted downhill, ignoring the trail. Branches tore our clothes, river stones bloodied our shins. At dawn, we hit a service road where search and rescue trucks idled, called for a missing solo hiker reported the night before. When we described the white pack man, an older ranger paled. "We've chased that ghost for 25 years, he whispered. "Shows up every few seasons, trying to lead hikers off trail, right where the tower burned." Back at the plaques, the newest missing hiker's name was freshly carved into the 3rd slab, the blank one, dated the very night we fled.